Lensbaby SOL 45 creative prime lens. See what it can do. So I recently picked this up for half its actual retail price. This one was used, but it was sold as unused. It was basically used, but hadn't actually been used other than maybe once or twice. So Lensbaby produce a lot of creative lenses, and there's quite a few of them that I've been meaning to try out. You may have seen our interview with the owner and co-founder of Lensbaby at the NEC recently for the photo show here in the UK. This one in particular is one of their more simple lenses. It's a 45mm f3.5 fixed prime. It's a tilt shift effect style of lens, really. Done in a slightly different way, but it produces quite a cool effect. It really is when you want something different, something creative. When it came up for the price it did, which was under £100, I was quite keen to just give it a go. Being that it's quite a particular effect, I just wanted to try it out at a wedding for a couple of things, maybe flowers and a couple of portraits. When you've got a couple of minutes, you can change the lens and get a little bit more creative. I just wanted to see what this thing could do. So I know the packaging's simple. I've already had a play with this lens, but I wanted to just show you what it comes with as a little bit of an unboxing, and then take you through what I've done and just show a couple of the images and give you my thoughts on it, my first initial impressions. So you can obviously see on the box, it's very straightforward. It shows you exactly what lens you're getting, 45mm f3.5. There's a couple of sample images on there, so it shows you the tilt shift effect you can get from the lens, or the creative type of shot as well for portrait. And in general, just showing you the type of bokeh that you can get from it. Obviously this is for the Sony A7 III that I've got, so Sony E mount. Opening it up, so you are greeted then with the Lensbaby cap and the lens itself. There we go. And then you can just take the lens out. A little bit of instructions telling you how to use it in the bottom of the box there, but again, it's very simple, very easy to use. So the lens itself is a metal finish, obviously plastic covers on the ends, but I'm quite impressed with the build quality of it. It's quite a weight to it. It's not heavy, but it's just a nice, well-made lens. The first thing you'll notice when you take the lens cap off is probably better stuff showing you here with the light shining on it, so you can see in there. This also has what's called a bokeh blades. It does what you might think. You just slot the blades out into position, move them around a bit, and it affects the way the bokeh looks and the type of swirl effect you get. And obviously if you've got any background or foreground lighting, if in a lower lit image, as you probably imagine, mess around with lighting and any lights you've got in the back and just make the bokeh really different. And that's essentially what this lens is about, making that bokeh a swirly type of effect, or especially all around the edges. The very center of the frame seems quite sharp, but the actual effect around the edge is exactly what you're buying the lens for. On the back, pretty straightforward, nice metal mount, extremely well made, as I've already said, and I'm quite impressed with how this lens performs. The other main party piece of this lens is the fact that you can twist to unlock the barrel, and then you will be able to sort of push and pull and move that mount around. But you can just move it around, and then what that means is once you've moved it, say down into the bottom left, your area of focus, the bit that's nice and sharp in the image, is going to be in that bottom left corner, and you're going to bring more of that bokeh across from the outside in. And then what that means is you can move that around and give yourself a much more creative control over how that sharp area of the image is portrayed, whether you want it off to the side, top corner, left, right, or again, if you want to twist that back to the center, then you keep that area of focus right in the middle. So I'll quickly show you what it's like on the actual Sony A7 III body, so you've got an idea. Put that onto there. There we have it. As I say, it's quite straightforward. You can just twist that around to move that area of focus, or lock it in place. Proportion wise to the actual camera itself, I think it's a really nice size. Doesn't come out too big. It's a bit thick for something that's such a short lens, but again, that really does come down to the fact that you need that movement in the end there to get the creative effect that you're after. So I'm just going to put up on screen now a couple of images that I took from a wedding last week with this lens. So I only briefly got to use it at a wedding this last week, and whilst I would have liked to have had a bit more of a play with it in a real world setting, it actually performed really well, and the sharp area of the image is extremely sharp, and that effect, as you can see by those images, are quite unique. It's quite cool. It's a little bit like free lensing without having to take your lens off the camera body, which is quite nice. It's not exactly the same, but it's very much a creative look that if you were to just incorporate it into your wedding shoot with just a couple of images here and there, it's quite a nice twist on it. As you saw, I've used it for the flowers and a couple with the portraits and a couple of shots. As you can see, I used it with the flowers, just doing a few shots during preparations in the morning when we had some time, and again then in the afternoon the sun was still out and we took them off for a little walk to get our standard portraits, or what we normally like to do, and I got it out for just a couple of shots with the couple then, and it came out lovely. A little bit more use, I'd probably nail that area a little bit better for the area of focus, maybe stand back a bit more. I think that's a tip I can give everyone, is to give yourself a little bit of breathing room, so what you want sharp is sharp, especially if it's a couple walking together. You'll find half their faces might be affected by the blur effect, or if you use the bokeh blades as well, it's going to make a little bit of a difference. So certainly worth bearing in mind. But if you do decide on picking one of these up, let us know. I'd love to see some images and see what people are doing with them, especially with weddings, but any sort of portraits or anything creative. I'm quite keen to take it out myself on a personal mission or two and just see what I can do with it. Haven't tested it for video, but one thing I will say is I think it would look great for any sort of dream sequence that you decide to shoot for video, or any sort of flashback scene, or anything that's maybe set in the past. It could be quite a good effect, and I'm positive that I've seen a scene used back in Banshee, which was a show that I used to love on Cinemax in America, and over here, and there was quite a few scenes where they'd have flashback scenes, or scenes where someone got hurt, hit on the head, and they're a little bit dazed and confused, and they'd use a lens like this where the focus was moving all over the screen and there was a lot of blurry action going on, and it was quite a cool effect. So I think this would be a really good addition to any video work that you might want to use it for as well. So I hope this video has given you a little idea of what it can do, especially at a wedding. I have got another video coming out with the Godox AD200s and the round head flash. It seems that a lot of you were very keen to see what else you can do with the modifiers for the AD200s, and I'm going to put that through its paces, but I have been using the round head flash on the last 5 weddings, and I'm very impressed with the results, so that's something to look out for as well if you're interested in any off-camera flash photography. So that's the Sol 45 from Lensbaby for you. I hope you've enjoyed this little first impression video. Hope you're enjoying all our other videos, and hello to all the new subscribers that's recently joined. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification if you want to be kept informed of our future videos coming out, and I will catch you in the next one.